A Florida teenager died mysteriously nearly 2 weeks ago aboard a cruise ship in the Caribbean, and we still don't know exactly what happened.
But today we learned some disturbing new clues. Christian.
We start with a big story that is getting nationwide attention because there are still so many questions surrounding the death of a Titusville teenager aboard a cruise ship that had just left Port Miami. We're talking about Anna Kepner. She was an 18-year-old. She died November 7th.
CBS News has learned that criminal charges may soon be filed against the step-sibling of Anna Kepner. The 18-year-old high school cheerleader from Titusville, Florida, was found dead on the Carnival cruise ship Horizon the morning of November 7th.
New details in the mysterious death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, whose body was found aboard the Carnival cruise ship Horizon earlier this month.
Investigators are now poring over the ship's security records, camera footage, and access card slides. They're also waiting for full toxicology and autopsy reports. Both of those could take weeks. Guys, still so many questions here.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science. According to the New York Post, Anna Kepner, 18, a Florida high school cheerleader, was on a 6-day Caribbean cruise with her family when a maid discovered her lifeless body, which was reportedly wrapped in a blanket. I've seen other reports saying several blankets, and stuffed under a bed. That was on November 7th. Wrapped in a blanket, I can think of at least 2 cases where the victim was found wrapped in a blanket. And what does this normally indicate? Well, it normally indicates the likelihood that the victim and the perpetrator were known to one another. Back to the article, court filings in Florida shockingly revealed Tuesday that one of her stepbrothers is being questioned by the FBI and could face arrest. And I've got an idea, well, it's possible that this individual appears in one of her TikTok videos. Because he's a minor, we're not going to show his face. But before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're new to this channel, I'm a prolific author, a true crime author. I've written numerous books on this case. I also studied law. If you find this analysis worthwhile, please do hit the thanks button and let's get started.
Few details have been released, but law enforcement sources told CBS News that Kepner's body was discovered by a housekeeper under the bed in her stateroom. She was on a family vacation with her father, stepmother, and 3 step-siblings at the time of the incident, and according to the Daily Mail, told her family the night before she died she was not feeling well.
Now, according to WWNYTV.com, a high school cheerleader who died on a Carnival cruise ship was found underneath a bed by a housekeeper, according to multiple news outlets. Now, if you think about it, it's an attempt to hide away the body, but in a sort of situation where it's bound to be found. And I guess the idea is really just to delay that. Law enforcement sources confirmed to ABC News and CBS News that a housekeeper found the body of Anna Kepner, 18, underneath a bed wrapped in blankets. Kepner was found dead on the Carnival Horizon cruise ship from Miami to the Caribbean on November 8th. According to WWNY-TV, the ship returned to Miami where the FBI has since opened an investigation. Local outlets Florida Today and WESH report that Kepner's 16-year-old stepbrother is being investigated by the FBI in the case. A criminal case may be initiated against the stepbrother, according to WESH. Details are still limited, and a final autopsy report for Kepner's cause of death is still pending. Now, when she says she wasn't feeling well, what does that mean? Does it mean that she had eaten something? Does it mean that she perhaps ingested a sedative? Or does it mean that was an excuse to go to her room early? And was that perhaps something that she'd arranged with somebody else and then perhaps something got out of hand? Now, I'm fairly new to this case, but I wonder if in this image where other minors' faces are blurred out, whether the stepbrother is the one in the maroon shirt. Now, given that it's a 16-year-old, I actually wonder if it's actually not the other one, the one in the Nirvana shirt. And I have seen at least one video on her TikTok page where there's a youngish kid, and we can't see his face in this picture, but it does make one wonder if it isn't this individual. According to the New York Post, the teen was on the cruise with her father, Christopher Kepner, and her new stepmom, Chantal Hudson, whose children were also in tow on the voyage. And so it kind of gives you a sense that perhaps these kids didn't really know each other very well and didn't really think of each other as siblings, but rather that they were at close quarters, boys and girls were at close quarters with one another, and perhaps one thing led to another. Legal filings in an ongoing custody case between Chantal Hudson, that's Anna's new stepmother, and her ex-husband revealed the bombshell details about the FBI eyeing Anna's step-sibling. CBS is a little more specific on what this legal filing involved. Kepner's stepmother, Chantal Hudson, wanted to reschedule a divorce hearing due to this recent matter. According to the New York Post, her obituary paints a glowing portrait of a fun-loving teen with big dreams for her future. These included plans to join the U.S. Navy after graduation and eventually become a K-9 police officer. Now, I must say, I don't think you need to look to her obituary to see this glowing portrait. You can see it on her TikTok. And you can see a lot of what is going on is, I guess, the same thing that is going on with a lot of young girls at this time. This is the new way that young girls express themselves. They've got long fingernails, they're wearing makeup, they're acting in front of the camera, they're performing songs and dancing in front of the camera. And of course, this has implications. There are people that are watching this, but there's also, the attention that they're getting is rewarded by views, and which then causes them to, it kind of incentivizes them to behave in a certain way. And to what extent does that play into this incident? And so I do think this glowing portrait is what attracted her stepbrother to her, and the cruise context probably made for a dreamy, even romantic setting, well, until it turned into a nightmare for the youngster. What exactly happened, we don't know. The New York Post goes on to describe Anna Kepner as a devout Christian who was baptized in May. Kepner's family wrote that they take comfort in knowing she's now in heaven, laughing, being the center of attention, and enjoying fries with ranch, just as she loved here on earth. I kind of find that cold comfort. And it does kind of make me think when I look at the tattoos that she was wearing, she's only 18 years old, is this the extent to which youngsters are sexualized today, and is that right? And you might say, well, the crime here is what somebody else did to her. Certainly, but is social media something that needs to be, especially with young people, needs to be looked at? According to CBS News, 18-year-old Kepner told family members the night before she wasn't feeling well and returned to her room. Well, someone must have been in her room. When she didn't show up for breakfast the next morning, a frantic search began. I think more pertinent to this are the movements of the 16-year-old stepbrother, and I wonder whether the CCTV is going to show those movements and timestamps. And did Kepner really not feel well? If not, why not? What was wrong? According to www.nytv.com, the Kepner family told ABC News that she was planning to join the military after graduating from Temple Christian School in May. So obviously that's just a couple of months away. The family hopes Anna will be remembered for her generosity and spirit, ABC News reported. She was an athlete who began gymnastics at the age of 2 and later joined her high school's varsity cheerleading team. You can imagine a young kid, a 16-year-old, is going to think of his sister as a cheerleader in a totally different way, well, if she wasn't a cheerleader. She was a people person, her family told ABC News. She loved being around people. She had that type of energy that just drew you in with her smile and the way she carried herself. She was such an easy person to talk to. Well, whatever happened here, it certainly is tragic, this life cut short. In any event, I'm not going to take it further than that. We will bring you the results of the autopsy report as soon as they become available. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.